Hello my beautiful yogis, and welcome to Yoga with Leif. Today we're really going to be taking our time in each pose. We're mostly going to be sitting down and lying down and really just enjoying ourselves. So this class is suitable for anybody who just wants to chill out for a little bit, connect with your breath, and just be with your body. That being said, I'd also like to ask you guys to see if you can notice something new today. Now, depending on where you are with your practice, when you get in that zone, we're present, we're breathing, and we're just feeling our body and we're listening with everything. And when we're in there, in that space, see if you can notice something new. Yeah, so it might be something new with your body, it might be something new with how things feel, how your breathing is. Maybe you have some type of revelation or like some thoughts come into your mind, something like that. But just see if you can notice something new. Okay, let's get started. We're gonna start today in a nice comfortable sitting position. So you might wanna have a block or a pillow to sit on. Your legs could be crossed in any way, maybe they're out to the side. It's like whatever feels right for you today. We're just gonna take a moment to connect with ourselves and connect with our breath, to start breathing and be conscious of the way that we're breathing and how we're feeling today. So when you're finding this comfortable position, try to find some length up through your spine, going out through the top of your head. You can let your gaze fall down a little bit in front of you, maybe about 1.5 meters. And then you can go ahead and close your eyes if that feels safe for you. From here, try to relax your face, try to relax your shoulders, bring your awareness inwards, and just observing. Maybe ask yourself, how do you feel today? How does your body feel? Things feel good, maybe not so good. Are there any pains? Anything that's uncomfortable? If there is, maybe make some adjustments if you can. And then also, if you'd like to set an intention for today's class, you can go ahead and do that now. So maybe just think a little bit about what made you come to this class. And if there's anything specific that you'd like to work with or focus on. So for those of you that are familiar with the bandhas, Mula Bandha or Uddiyana Bandha, we can go ahead and start to connect with those two now. So it's the root lock and our abdominal lock. I have a video on my channel that goes into depth about those if you're curious about that. However you're breathing, you can close your mouth and start breathing in and out through your nose. And for those that have Ujjayi, you can start to connect with your Ujjayi breath now. So I also have a video on my channel that goes into a bit more depth about Ujjayi breathing, how to do it and how to think. And basically the idea here is when you have your bandhas activated and you're sending your breath into your chest, and you can imagine expanding in every direction, kind of like a barrel. So when you breathe in, you're expanding in every direction. And then when you breathe out or exhale, it gets smaller again. Still finding that length through the top of your head. Noticing if you have any tensions that you can release. So we're relaxing the face, the shoulders, try to relax your legs. Last couple breaths here. So you can keep your eyes closed here, or if you'd like to open them, maybe just to see me and then close them again afterwards. You can do that, or maybe you just want to have them open the whole time. But we're going to continue here with walking our hands a little bit forward. If this is a bit difficult for you to get the hands in front of you, then maybe you want to just have your hands behind you here, supporting your back, opening the heart and chest a little bit, and then see if you can push yourself a little bit forwards. So you might start to feel some stretching going on around your hip area, maybe a bit in your lower back. We're actually going to try to activate our stomach here and find that length through the spine, so we're not really stretching our back. And always in these warm-ups, if you feel like you need to do some extra movements, maybe rock back and forth or sort of curve and straighten your spine a little bit, then of course you can go ahead and do that. See if you can go a little bit deeper. Last breath here. And we'll be walking our hands back to sitting. Here we're going to twist over to our right side, so we're breathing in, finding some length through the spine, breathing out, twisting to our right. See if you can bring your neck together with you and maybe even start to ease a little bit backwards or behind you. And if you have your hands on your legs or on the ground, doesn't really matter, but try not to use those to push yourself deeper into the pose. So we're just having them here more for a little bit of support. Last breath. And breathing out, coming back to front or center, and moving over to the other side. And we're breathing out, coming back forward. From here, we're going to move ourselves up to all fours, so take as much time as you need here. Coming up on all fours, if there's any discomfort on your knees, you can always put a pillow here or fold your mat double, something like that to put underneath. It's a little bit more comfortable. You can also have the balls of your feet down and maybe kind of not lift your knees necessarily, but put some pressure down into the balls of your feet so that you're releasing some of the pressure or some of the weight that's going down into your knees. From here, spreading the fingers, your index and middle finger pointing straight forward. So you have this rotation, as always, and the inside of the elbows or your biceps here are pointing forwards. Pushing the whole hand down, find some length in your spine, pulling your shoulders down as well. Connecting with your Ujjayi breath, feeling the Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha are turned on. And noticing how you feel, listening with your body. So we're going to start to warm up the wrists here, just leaning a little bit forwards, backwards, from side to side, just noticing here what feels right and what feels good. Any kind of pain that you might have in your hands. I mean, I say this all the time in all of my classes, and there's a reason that I have to say it, because it's such an easy thing to forget. A lot of people do have this pain in the wrists, you know, because they're letting a lot of weight just go straight down into their wrist. But instead here, okay, if you do have any pain, spread your hand, push the whole hand down, as if you're like pushing yourself away from the mat. Okay, so then we're working with our muscles and using our muscles instead of just letting all the weight go down into that joint or into those joints. It's not so good for the wrists. And last breath here. And moving on to cat-cow. So breathing in, opening the heart and chest, and breathing out, curving your back. And from here, feel free to move a little bit forwards and backwards as well, breathing in. And out. Breathing in. And out. And last one, breathing in. And out. Child's pose, sending the hips backwards. And from here you can sit on top of your legs. Maybe you have the balls of the feet down. If you do, then you can feel a little extra stretch in the soles of your feet. I really like doing this one early in the morning to help wake up my feet a little bit. If this is a little bit difficult, then you can also spread your knees, make some more space to come through, or if you have a little bit of a belly or something like that, then it's okay to make some space here, or else you might be a bit higher up. So just adjust the pose to what feels right for you. Here you can also have your hands out in front of you or along your side. If they're here, then you're working more towards your between your shoulder blades, and if they're out here, then maybe you'll feel a little bit around your armpits and your chest area. And if you can't get your head down, then here's a nice place to use your pillow underneath your forehead, or maybe you want to have your hands or stack some fists or something like that. We have about 3-4 more breaths here. And last breath. From here, breathing out, curving the back, moving the weight forwards into our hands. So we're going to come into a plank position, so either having your knees down or you can lift your knees up, so depending on if your arms and wrists are ready for this or not. Coming here, finding that long spine, making sure we're not dropping our belly. So Uddiyana Bandha is engaged, finding some length through the top of our head, moving the weight forwards into your hands, keeping the inside of the elbows forwards. Two, 3, 4, and 5. Slowly lowering down to Chaturanga, keeping the shoulder blades from dipping, so we have the shoulders between the shoulder blades active here, lowering down as far as what feels comfortable for you. So maybe you don't come all the way down, keeping ourselves above the ground. Don't lay down yet, keeping yourself up and pushing back up. And from here, walking the feet forwards. And then the easiest way here to come to a sitting position. And then we're gonna lie down on our backs. Dropping both knees to one side for a little spinal twist. Whichever direction feels right for you the first time. From here, you can have your hands out to the side. Maybe you have the hands on your legs for some extra support to bring them down. And you can also gaze over towards the opposite side of where your knees are. If you want to go a little bit deeper into this twist, then you can imagine collecting your legs or having them on top of each other. And we have one last breath. Bringing the knees up and changing sides. Last breath. Bring your knees up. And then back to or bring them down to your chest. Give yourself a little hug here so you can grab your calves or your knees. Maybe rock a little bit back and forth, side to side. And we're going to come back up to sitting. So taking your time here, maybe you use your legs to help come up or just roll over to the side and come up to a nice comfortable sitting position. And we're going to go into Navasana. So from here, we can start with the feet down, have the inside of the thighs engaged. So we're bringing the legs together, length out to the top of the spine, engaging the mula bandha, uddiyana bandha. So really sucking in there, finding that length, and then see if you can lift your legs up. Yeah, maybe you're holding here for a little support, so you don't need to stress your hip flexors so much. You can start lifting up the legs, maybe see if you can release here, and maybe you want to straighten all the way out. 5 breaths. 1. Coming down sooner if you need to, if it gets too exhausting for you. 2. 3. 4. And 5. And breathing out, collecting the legs. Give yourself a little hug here. See if you can find your balance. And back down to laying on our back. Making sure we have the mat underneath us. We have the soles of our feet down on the mat, the hips maybe just a little bit away from our hips. Keeping some space between the legs. If you have a block or something, this is a nice point to find the block to put between your knees or your thighs. Make sure you keep them active so that when we lift the hips up, that we don't let our knees go out to the side. Okay, so pushing down with the arms, in with the stomach, and then lifting the hips upwards. And we have 5 breaths here. 1. 2. 3. Also trying to open the heart and chest here. 4. Breathing into your chest. And 5. Breathing out, curving the back, so everything in the front here, breathing it in, and feel that you're touching each vertebrae at a time as you roll back down. So we're moving in towards Halasana. So collecting the legs again, maybe straighten them out a little bit. It's okay to have a bit of a bend in your knee, in your knees. Now you don't need to go into full Halasana if your back isn't ready for this, so be a little bit careful and gentle. You can have your hands down on the mat, breathing in, and then trying to lift our hip up a little bit. So finding some length through the spine here as well, so we're still active and engaged. We're not just stretching our back. If you can, find some length through your legs as well, and see if your toes can find the floor down here behind us. So you can use our arms to help push down, sending the butt a little bit upwards, or more if maybe it's more diagonal, right? If you're not coming all the way up. Also here you can rock a little bit side to side. And 2 more breaths. Okay, from here you're going to bend the knees. You
can take your arms over your head as well, really engaging the stomach, and then we're using the weight of our legs and our abdominals to control ourselves to roll back down again. Pushing our lower back down into the mat, engaging the whole stomach, bringing the ribs in as well. Then we're going to lower our legs down towards the floor. See if you can do that without lifting your back. And then see if you just touch the heels down and then lift them back up again. We're going to do 2 more. So lowering them down on an exhale and breathing in, coming up. Last one. Breathing out. And breathing in, coming up. Okay, bend the knees, come back up to sitting. Then we have this little flow that we've done in a previous class. So coming up on to reverse tabletop. So hands down, toes pointing the same direction as your fingers. Opening the heart and chest here. Pushing the hands and the feet down while our hips are coming up. And then try to not collapse in your chest, so really opening that heart, pulling the shoulders down into your back, and then finding that long neck. This is a bit difficult or strenuous on your neck, that you can always just gaze up, or if your neck is totally fine, then maybe you want to release your neck backwards. So making sure our knees aren't going out to the side, keeping them parallel. Breathing in, lifting ourselves up, and then on the exhale, we're going to drop the hips. Okay, you can look forward here now if you need to. Try not to collapse in the chest, so keeping that chest open the whole time. Sending your hips backwards. And then breathing in, coming back up. Breathing out, coming back. So lowering the hips, pushing them back behind you. Maybe you can't get as far as this, but just do your best here. Breathing in and breathing out. So maybe you just lower down and breathe in and come back up again. Okay, we're gonna do 2 more. Breathing out. Breathing in, inside of the elbows forward here, opening the heart and chest, and breathing out, coming with the hips back, and then coming back to sitting. All right, very nice, guys. So from here, curving the back, rolling down to laying down, collecting the legs. Give yourself a little hug. Okay, so feet back down on the mat, arms along the side, pushing the soles of the feet down, breathing in, hips are coming up. One more time. So from here, if you want to go a little bit deeper, have a little bit more of a challenge, you can see if you can lift one leg. So go up on the ball of your foot first, really pushing the arms and the other foot down, and see if you can straighten out that leg. Last breath. And coming down on an exhale, and then other side. So 2.5 breaths here. 1. And 2. Pushing all the toes of your feet down into the mat. And breathing out, calming down. Okay, collecting the legs. Coming back up to sitting. Halasana A. So from both feet out in front of you, you're going to bring one leg in, sole of your foot touching the inside of your thigh. If this is a little bit too difficult for your knee or feels uncomfortable, then you can always just have your foot out to the side here. Yeah, somewhere where it feels okay for you. Breathing in, finding some length. Breathing out, coming forwards. Trying to keep this long spine so that we're not just, thinking the top of thinking our face down towards our leg, but really breathing in, finding that length, flexing the front foot. And 5 breaths here. 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Coming out, back up to sitting, changing feet. Coming forwards on an exhale. And 1.
listening with the body, observing what's going on. And have you noticed anything new yet? Any discoveries? Three. Four. And 5. Coming back up to sitting, crossing the legs, rolling over our feet, back to plank. From here, bringing one leg forwards to the outside of your hand. So we're going to be opening up the front of our hip here a little bit. If you feel like dropping your knee, you can totally do that. And also, if you want to go into a little twist, you can also go ahead. Or maybe it's enough for you just to stay here and explore that stretch in the front of your thigh. 2. 3. 4. And 5. So hand is coming down, back to plank, and then changing sides. 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Breathing out, coming back to plank. Ready for another chaturanga push-up. Finding the pose. Shoulders down, inside of the elbows forwards. Bandhas are engaged. And breathing out, lowering down slowly. Breathing in, coming back up. 2 more. Breathing out. Maybe you just do a small one. Yeah, so maybe you stop here. And breathing in all the way up. Last one. Breathing out, coming down. And breathing in, coming up. All right, knees down, shaking out the hands and the wrists. Noticing your breath. And from here, we're going to find a nice, comfortable sitting position. And again, in the same way as we started the class, dropping your gaze, closing your eyes, finding some length. Relaxing the face and your shoulders, your arms, your hands. Your bandhas are still engaged. Slowing down your breath. Okay, we're going to take a couple of breaths here together. So get ready to inhale on 1, 2, 3, and exhale. 1, 2, 3. Breathing in 1, 2, 3, and out. 2, 3. A little bit slower. Breathing in. 2, 3, and out. 2, 3. Last time, even slower. 1, 2, 3, and out. 2, 3. Okay, bring your hands together in front of our heart. Noticing how you feel. If you set an intention for today, maybe ask yourself how it went. And just noticing here, without making any opinions, either the one way or the other, but just observing how it went. Thank you so much for today, everyone. Namaste. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me for today's practice. Now, if you did learn or discover something new, I would love to hear down in those comments below. Or if you just had any kind of experience that we would like to share, or even just to say hi, I'd love to hear from you.